Welcome back to Shem's Universe. So today, guys, we're going to go over why the 12th house is the most important house in astrology. So your 12th house, a lot of people want to depict it as like being really negative, like it's like where you take loss, all of this stuff. And I wouldn't really say it's where you take losses necessarily at all. I think it's where you take a great degree of lessons. I don't mean that in a cliche way, like, oh, losses are lessons, all that other stuff they'll say online nowadays. What I more so mean is that your 12th house is really your karmic lesson, and your 12th house will show signs of who you possibly were in a prior lifetime. So what that means is this: the same way I gave out the glitch last week where I said your expression number is your prior life path, why you have its natural skill set, its talents, and then the drawbacks. The 12th house sign is the house where you were probably as a sun sign in your last reincarnation. So when you understand that, you start to realize that, okay, these are lessons I should already know, but now you're carrying over a karmic lesson from it. So you have to look at it and take it extremely seriously because you need to solve it this time around. So if you have, let's say, like an Aries in the 12th house, I'm going to go through the whole list right now briefly. But you have to work on leadership and innovation in this lifetime and also managing your anger. If you have Taurus there, it means that you have to manage your finances better, and you could take financial loss if you don't do that properly. If you have Gemini there, it can mean you have to take care of a family member in this lifetime. You can have a lot of miscommunication issues, but usually it's a family member that you have to take care of. Cancer, it's an issue surrounding family a lot of the times. You have to learn how to manage your role within your family in order to actually find true success. When you have Leo there, it means that you're going to have issues with authority figures. That usually is indicative of somebody who's like a life path 1 or 8 in this lifetime. Notice that a lot. If you have Libra there, it means you have to learn a lot about karma in this lifetime, and you might have to go through certain legal matters in order to obtain complete success. When you have Scorpio there, you're going to go through a lot of occult experiences. It could mean a lot of near-death experiences as well. Be very, very careful of that. But moreover than that, it means that you have to manage your spirituality as a whole and making sure that you don't lose it in the pursuit of materialism. When you have Sagittarius there, it means you have to learn not to run away from issues. So a lot of issues will surround around procrastination, and really you're just using your mind in an abstract way to solve different diverse issues throughout your life without actually being overwhelmed by them, or without letting those problems sort of develop into something bigger than they need to be. When Sagittarius is there, people run away from problems too much. Capricorn being there, you have a lot to learn about punctuality, karma, militancy, but moreover than that, you have to learn about how hierarchical systems work within your family unit, within companies, within social realm, all of those things. When Aquarius is there, you have to learn to trust your own intuition and trust your own ideas, and then see them through to fruition. And finally, when Pisces is there, it's sort of the same thing. You have to trust that gut feeling, and more often than not, you have to learn how to deal with social dilemmas a lot, because people with Pisces in the 12th usually get taken advantage of by either their friends or by their family. So the reason I bring all this up today, guys, and I went through that very quickly, is because it's still going to differentiate with your chart what your fingerprint is, sort of what the 12th house means to you. With my readings, of course, I'll be describing it in a little bit more detail because there's going to be planets there as well that'll make things a bit different. But you need to know what's in your 12th house and what you're working with, so you know, okay, here's where I can take the biggest losses. My next video later this week is going to be around the 8th house, which is a next house where you can take losses in, but it really is meant to develop you and show you transformation. So you have to look at some of these houses and say, okay, they might be negative, but these negative houses are actually crucial and probably key to my success overall. So if you actually take advantage of the knowledge given, you'll then know how to counteract and go around certain things that could be bad luck to you and actually turn them into good luck. Because if you actually turn what you know about your 12th house into your karmic lesson, as I always describe in my readings, then you'll realize, okay, I don't have to take losses here at all. I just have to learn how to adapt to the circumstance that the matrix has now put me in. And that makes things a lot easier, right? So to get around the losses and disappointments of the 12th house, you simply need to look at things from the perspective of, what is my rising sign? And then how do I counteract that? Because the 12th house is pretty much like, it's almost trying to bring down your rising sign. It's trying to bring that portion of you down and then bring you back into a karmic loop from a prior reincarnation. So you need to look at, for one, your rising sign, and then see what its good traits are, and then what its weaknesses are, and then go to war with those weaknesses, and then maximize the strengths that you already have. You then should be looking at your 8th house to then see what personal transformation could have to take place in this lifetime, get to that immediately. I'm going to discuss the 8th house in another video, just so you guys have more knowledge on what I mean by that. And then there's other planetary positions like your Jupiter, like your Mercury, your Venus, your Mars. All of these matter a lot, what position they're in, to help you navigate what sort of personality you have, what sort of dispositions you have. And then you can then get around to, okay, the 12th house wants me to take losses, but I can then use my mercurial energy here to then satiate that, or to then get rid of it, right? So it all depends on what your actual personal chart is, and you'll be able to actually deal with your 12th house's lessons in a very diverse set of ways. But for the most part, what I'd say is, even if you don't have all of that knowledge and you just know what's in your 12th house sign-wise, you then should just be able to just Google it, ask me, ask another astrologer, whoever, what does that mean in that house, and then what's the way to counteract it very directly. Because I'd argue that once you know your sun, your moon, your rising sign, you then understand your money houses, and then you understand what your 12th house karmic lesson is. You sort of have a full scope of how to utilize your astrology chart just simply from there alone in a very core way. So what I mean by that is, if you know your money houses, then you then know how to make money, what to do for career, where your lucky money is, all these things. Look at the 8th house where your hidden money is, all that stuff too. And then you then can look at what your rising sign is, look at strengths, weaknesses. Then you can look at your 12th house and see, okay, here's where the losses come in on my upward spiral, my journey. It's really as simple as that. If you can understand where the pause or the delay or the obstacle would be, you then can work beforehand to make sure you're able to destroy it as soon as it comes up. It's really as simple as that. And for most of us, when you look at your 12th house, you'll have semblance with it when you look at it from a karmic lesson perspective, because then you'll realize that you've already been probably going through it. Like, I have Leo in my 12th, and I've had authority issues my whole life, whether it be at work, whether it be with parents. It's always some sort of thing. So you just have to sort of understand where you fall in that, and it can also help you choose career as well, very likely. Because if you have something that is going to revolve around like family issues, like a Cancer in the 12th, that can also give you a predisposition to get into like things like family law as a lawyer, an arbitrator, mediation, things of that nature as well. So you can actually use the 12th house to then integrate it into finding a career and overall finding your overall purpose in life. And I think that's the most important part to finalize this video, is your 12th house actually helps you figure out what your purpose is in life, because you realize what the problem is actually the way to find your actual full out purpose, your full out goal or imperative. If you know you have Leo, like me for instance, I realized that, okay, I'm gonna always have problems with authority, learning about hierarchical systems. I should just take myself out of that situation, go for an entrepreneurial route, and then I'll find success in that way and have more overall satisfaction with my life, which is what happened. So you gotta figure out what that is for yourself, and you'll realize that your 12th house actually brings you closer to happiness, and you shouldn't have a negative perspective on it at all. All right, so that does conclude my video, guys. If you have any questions for me regarding this, just leave it in the comment section. Aside from that, like, subscribe. Holla at me. It's it for today, guys. Peace.